Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage Jewish California CEO, David Bacarsley.
Hello, everybody. We have an incredible evening ahead of us. And I first want to start by welcoming you to the first Capital Summit of Jewish California. Of course, for many of you who have said, wait, I've been here for several years, it's just the name that's new. But it reflects something real, the growth, the maturity, and the genuine unity of what we've built. In my 4 years here, we've grown from 25 member organizations to 43, adding our first Jewish climate group, our first JCC, Jewish labor, and recently our first synagogue. Our summit delegation has grown from 150 to nearly 700. Woo! You are all doing very different work. You may be fighting anti-Semitism and hate, defending civil rights, supporting immigrants and refugees, fighting hunger and poverty, and caring for Holocaust survivors. And the beauty of Jewish California, what makes this coalition so remarkable, is that we show up as one unified voice. This kind of coalition doesn't exist anywhere else in the Jewish world, and it's effective. The challenges facing our community and all vulnerable groups are compounding. Our policy priorities face more scrutiny and opposition than ever before, but we've stood together and delivered major wins. This room, CEOs and board members, rabbis and volunteers, students and professionals from every corner of California, filling the largest hotel ballroom in Sacramento is proof. Amidst some of our community's hardest years in recent memory, we are not complacent, we are not fatigued, we are not retreating, we are building. And perhaps the clearest sign of how far we've come is in the relationships we've built with California's lawmakers. Between our reception and this dinner, we've had 30 legislators with us tonight. That's roughly 1/4 of the entire State House in one room here for our community. So many of them are steadfast champions, allies we've worked alongside for years. In fact, if you look at our recent scorecard, over half of the entire State House voted with us on every single one of our score bills last year. That is what Jewish California is built on. We invest in these relationships. We stay in them. We share respectfully when we disagree, and we work to earn trust and support over time. Because we know we all need each other to build the world we want to live in. So with that, I'd like to recognize each of our incredible lawmakers in attendance by name. And I will say it is a long list, so please hold your applause until the end. First, our Assembly members who joined us tonight. We have Assembly members Dawn Addis, Assembly Majority Leader Cece Aguiar-Curry, Assembly Member Patrick Ahrens, Juan Alanis, Jasmeet Baines, Mark Berman, Isaac Bryan, Lisa Calderon, Lori Davies, Diane Dixon, Mike Fong, Jesse Gabriel, Jeff Gonzalez, Mark Gonzalez, Maggie Krell, Almarit Suchi, Gail Pellerin, Nick Schultz, Lachey Sharp Collins, Greg Wallace, Chris Ward, Rick Chavez Zabur. And on the Senate side, we've had Senator Ben Allen, Josh Becker, Rosalysio Ochoa Bogue, Laura Richardson, Lola Smallwood Cuevas, and Henry Stern. Please give a round of applause to all of our legislators. Did I miss anybody, by the way? Is there anyone here that I didn't call out? Great. I want to thank all of you for being here. It really means the world to this community. And I want to give two quick recognitions before we continue. First, a special thanks to our incredible lobbyist, Cliff Berg. Where's Cliff? Do I see Cliff somewhere? Cliff is our through line connecting so much of what we accomplish up here to our Sacramento lobbyists. And also to Roni Ayalon, who's right here in the front, who staffs the Jewish Caucus and serves as a vital bridge between our community and our elected champions. Cliff and Roni, I want to thank both of you. So with that, I want to take a moment to talk about the Legislative Jewish Caucus, who we're really here to celebrate tonight. Beyond just making this evening so special for us, they fight for us every single day in the halls of the Capitol. If Jewish California is the voice of our community towards state government, the Jewish Caucus is our champion within it. We work hand in glove with them, and this deep partnership is the reason we've been able to secure nearly $450 million in state funding for our community's priorities over the last 4 years. That includes security grants, Holocaust survivors, refugees and asylum seekers, food pantries, and housing for adults with disabilities. That doesn't happen without the Jewish Caucus, and this past year certainly doesn't happen without them either. Last year, of course, as we already started to discuss, the caucus made AB 715 their sole priority. And we'll honor our incredible bill authors, Assemblymembers Zabur and Addis, a little later, but it's worth acknowledging that every single member showed up, pitched in, made calls, took meetings, and went to bat. They stared down powerful opposition, and together we won. It took every single one of them, and it took every single one of you. And this year, even with AB 715 behind us, the caucus is at it again. Assemblymember Gabriel is authoring our bill to expand nonprofit security grants. Senator Stern is authoring a Jewish ethnicity bill. Assemblymember Bauer Cahan authoring the bill to make sure we have safe worship zones outside our synagogues. And then of course, Assemblymember Pellerin is working to protect against anti-Semitic content on the ballot. And beyond our core Jewish values, so many Jewish caucus members are championing the very values that define Jewish California. Senator Becker on childcare, Lowenthal on social media safety, Ward on immigration, Ahrens on poverty through the young child tax credit, and on and on and on. That kind of leadership advancing both our core issues and our core values doesn't happen by accident. It happens because of a deep commitment to our community and a shared belief in what's right. The Jewish lawmakers with us tonight understand that some issues are simply too important to ignore, even when the politics are hard. So, I'm proud to introduce our special program tonight, where we'll hear from all of the Jewish Caucus members who are with us and get a little peek behind the curtain of how we work together to put values into action. And then we'll get to celebrate our AB 715 authors for their steadfast leadership. So with that, it is my great honor to turn the program over to my dear friend, a true champion for our community, the chair of the Legislative Jewish Caucus, Assemblymember Jesse Gabriel.
All right, good evening, everybody. All right, let's try that one more time. Good evening. All right. Thank you all for joining us in Sacramento. For those of you that weren't here earlier today or haven't had a chance to meet, my name is Jesse Gabriel. I am really proud to represent the San Fernando Valley in the California State Legislature. I know we have an amazing turnout from VBS, my congregation, so hi to all the VBS members. And also really incredibly proud and honored to chair the California Legislative Jewish Caucus. Let me start this evening with just a few thank yous. And I want to begin, first of all, with all the people who have prepared and served our meal this evening. So can we give a round of applause to all of our servers? I also want to echo David's thanks to the incredible staff, Roni with the Jewish Caucus, Catherine on my personal team, Cliff, who's an amazing lobbyist, so thank you to the staff, and everyone at Jewish California who has worked so hard to make tonight possible, Rabbi Goodman, everybody else. Let's give them a big round of applause. Also to the incredible board of Jewish California who have been indispensable partners of ours. And finally, to David Bacarsley. I know David's parents, Lance and Vivian, are here. We share in your nachas. You've done an incredible job in raising David. So let's give David a big round of applause. So in just a moment, I'm going to invite the members of the Legislative Jewish Caucus up to introduce themselves, to talk to you a little bit about what they're doing. We want to have a little bit of fun tonight to celebrate Jewish joy and Jewish resilience and the amazing work that we're doing together, which of course will be punctuated by the extraordinary efforts of my dear friends, Assembly members Zubair and Addis, who have just done the most amazing work on behalf of our community. And I thought I'd begin tonight just to be serious for one moment. I wanted to share a story with all of you about AB 715. It's not something I've really spoken about, and I actually don't know that all of my colleagues know this story. So we passed AB 715 in September of last year. Then the legislature recessed. Governor, as I said earlier today, Governor Newsom signed that bill on October 7th. But in between, I went home. I went back to the San Fernando Valley, went back to Encino. All of us are in the legislature. When the legislature ends, we go home and we're just wrecked. I mean, we're just exhausted and beat up and tired. And it was a really hard year with the fires and all the chaos in Washington and 715. And about 3 or 4 days after the legislative session ended, I was invited to my son's school because we share a birthday of September 25th, and they were celebrating all of the September birthdays in the class. So you go and you bring some cupcakes, and they celebrate the 3 or 4 kids together. And I noticed that one of the kids in the class, we hadn't seen the family before, and so I went up and I introduced myself, and I said, "Hi, my name's Jesse," and they said, "Oh, nice to meet you." And I said, "I don't think I've met you before." And they said, "Oh, we just moved here to Encino." I said, "Oh, where are you guys from?" And they said, "We moved here from Oakland." And I said, "Oh, that's great. Welcome to the community." And we started talking. And what came out in that conversation was that they're Jewish, and they had moved to the San Fernando Valley, where it's much more comfortable to be Jewish because of the anti-Semitism that their 7-year-old son had experienced in public schools in Oakland. And they told me that the moment at which they decided that they needed to pull their son out of Oakland Unified was in December, when they were having a holiday party and all of the kids were invited to wear pajamas to school, many of them wearing their Christmas pajamas, and their 7-year-old son wanted to wear his Hanukkah pajamas, and they were worried about his safety, and so they were trying to talk him out of wearing his Hanukkah pajamas to school. And it was that moment when they looked at themselves and they said, "We're sitting here trying to talk our 7-year-old out of wearing Hanukkah pajamas to a public school in the state of California. This isn't right. And this is not the community in which we want to raise our son." And it was this amazing moment for me, having just come off of working so hard to pass AB 705. I had not introduced myself as a member of the legislature. They had no idea what I did for a living. They had no idea the work that we did. And it was just this incredibly visceral reminder of why we do the work that we do. And so... And of course, having a kid who was the same age, exactly the same age as them, was this powerful reminder for me of fighting for our kids. So that, for me, is a long way of saying thank you to all of you for the incredible work that all of you did. I know many of you are fierce advocates on that bill, and we are so, as a caucus, we are so grateful for your work. So let me tell you a little bit about the caucus, and then I'm going to invite them up, and you'll hear from them. And it's just a wonderful and extraordinary group of people. So we are 18 members of the legislature, very auspicious, chai. So it means we have about 26 to 27 opinions at every Jewish caucus meeting. I have great empathy for synagogue board presidents now. 18 members of the legislature, and we work together really on 2 things. The first is to be a voice for the community in Sacramento, to advance our community's top priorities, whether that's community security or fighting anti-Semitism or working to strengthen hate crimes legislation, things that are core to the Jewish community's shared interests. And we do that unapologetically and as proud Jews, and we are fiercely committed to standing up and being counted in this moment. And the other half of our work is that we try to bring Jewish values into the policymaking process. And we have done that over the last couple years by putting together, with the exception of last year when we only focused on 715, for the last couple years, a Tikkun Olam priority bill list. And these are bills that are not specific to our community, but they are things that reflect our values, things like helping homelessness and foster youth and lifting up the most vulnerable members of our community. And I had such a proud moment sitting with Governor Newsom 2 weeks ago with our caucus, talking through our Tikkun Olam bill package with the governor of the state of California. And what an amazing moment to use those words and to talk to him about our community's commitment to lifting up vulnerable Californians of all faiths and backgrounds. So that's what we do. And I will say very sincerely that we couldn't do it without the partnership of Jewish California, without the partnership of the organizations that are here in this room, so many of the amazing clergy and lay leaders and activists, and I just want to say thank you. If you doubted for a minute that it mattered that you got on an airplane or got in your car and came up to Sacramento today, I want to assure you from the deepest sense of my soul that your presence here matters. You are doing something important to protect our community. You are doing something important to bring Jewish values into the policymaking process. And so on behalf of the caucus, I just want to say thank you, and you should give yourselves a big round of applause. And finally, I want to just, I think some of them may have left already, but I want to say a special thank you to our non-Jewish members of the legislature who have been incredible allies for us. I know many of them joined us here this evening. I specifically want to shout out also the leadership, our legislative leaders, Pro Tem Limon, former Pro Tem McGuire, and Speaker Rivas, who have been incredible, incredible champions for our community. So with that, I want to invite all of the members of the Jewish Caucus to come up and join me on stage. While they are making their way up here, I want to just, again, thank Assemblymember Zuber and Assemblymember Addis for just their extraordinary work. You guys can come on up. And really also thank so many other members. The way that Assemblymember Berman and Assemblymember Lowenthal and Gail Pellerin have leaned into really difficult moments and stood up for our community is really, really special. So with that, I'm going to allow them to self-introduce, and let's go ahead and start with our incredible Vice Chair, Senator Josh Becker.
Hey everybody, how are you? It's wonderful to be here. This is a night I'll never forget because you are all here, but also the second gentleman coming, talking to our caucus, talking about his work in the White House and how we are carrying on his work with 715 and the work we've done here. Incredible moment for all of us. I'd say this, Jesse had his moment. When I went back to my district after passing that bill, and then we had in my district, right on the edge of my district, a human swastika. 8 kids on a football field formed a human swastika. One of them posted it with his actual name on Instagram with a Hitler quote. And it was so far beyond anything I could ever possibly have imagined could remotely happen out here. I just never would have thought it. But, I knew we'd done something about it, and we could do something about it. They delivered the mobile Holocaust museum right away to the site, to the school, and then we're able to engage with the help of folks here, engage in Holocaust education at the school. And it's partly because of the work we've done to fund the Teacher Collaborative and the cumulative work of the Jewish Caucus. Yes, you can cheer for the Teacher Collaborative. And we met with the governor. I shared this story, and I'll share some of the principles. I shared something the principal said, which I won't share tonight because I don't want to bring folks down. But it focused on it brought home the purpose, the goal, and what we need to do in Holocaust education. But the governor has just been a rock for us. And I share with him a quote because I know he likes quotes. And it was Rabbi Nachman. He said, "The whole world is a very narrow bridge, and the main thing is to have no fear at all." And this group, this caucus, has been absolutely fearless in their pursuit of helping the community, but we couldn't do it without all of you. Thank you.
Sing it.
Okay. Well, I guess you're going to hear from me twice tonight. I'm Dawn Addis. I represent San Luis Obispo, Monterey, and Santa Cruz counties. It's wonderful to be here. I think some of my people are some of the newest members of Jewish California, and I know we have some Cal Poly students in here somewhere. So thank you to the Cal Poly students who have traveled down. But I get to vice chair the caucus with Senator Josh Becker, so you can imagine how fun that has been over the last couple of years. And I'll get to talk to you in a minute, but what I really want to make sure that you leave with tonight is what was already said here, which is that we could not do this work without you. We could not win the battles that we've won over the last number of years without you. We could never have gotten that bill 715 to the governor's desk desk without you. And I hope that every single one of you who's made the trek up to Sacramento today really understands deeply that every accomplishment that we have had is because of you. And so I'm deeply, deeply appreciative. Thank you so much.
Hi, I'm Henry Stern. I'm a Summer Year Center in the San Fernando Valley, maybe Ventura County. Here for some of you. I guess I would just say briefly that we should not take what you have here on this stage and what this caucus has become for granted. I don't like to think that we're at the apex, because I hope that we can sustain this power that you all have helped us marshal in this room. But I do want to say Shehachianu v'kiyamanu v'higianu lazman hazeh, because we to have this showing, there's so many lonely rooms for all of us to be in, where you feel like you're the only person kind of raising your hand and speaking out and raising the awkward point. That's kind of what it is to be a Jew, to be the awkward person in the room, to be like, yeah, and you might want to think about this. Like, we even do it in our own room with each other, but you're not alone. You're not alone, and we're all here together. And I'm especially Jesse, and going back to our previous chairs, Mr. Allen being here tonight, Mark Levine somewhere out there, and some of our predecessors. Just what incredible power we've marshaled for a greater good. So, thank you. God bless you.
Thanks, Henry. Well, good evening, Jewish California. My name is Chris Ward. I'm from San Diego. Where are those that traveled 500 miles from San Diego? So great to see this growing group every single year. How many people are here the first time being advocates for your cause here? We're giving a hand for everybody else that made the trek up to Sacramento. Friends, this is my 6th year here in the legislature, and the fight continues. We have a lot of hard work that reflects a lot of what we're hearing from the community. And so, yes, it's great that we're growing in political strength, and we can certainly talk to our colleagues about doing the right things. But we can't do as much as you can do as advocates, talking to your home representatives in the Assembly and the Senate to let them know why it matters to you, to your family, to your kid, to your schools. That's how we get the real work done. And it's this really inside-outside strategy that we're going to exercise all day here tomorrow to make sure that your priorities are front and center. I hear that loud and clear down in San Diego, the fear that we have in our communities still today, sadly, that we have in this age of extremism that is percolating into every aspect of life. One area that I'm working on, she's not here, I want to give a shout out to my colleague, the chair of our Privacy Committee, Assemblywoman Rebecca Bauer-Kayan, is thinking about how susceptible our information is in this digital age to somebody's perverse actions that would do us harm. And so one example of bill that I'm working on right now is to make sure that all that information from your phone, your geolocation, your sensitive private information, that this is not up for sale to the highest bidder for some large data brokers. They should not know when you're going to synagogue. They should not know where your kids are going to school. This is your private information that is yours to own, and it's our job to be able to make sure that we understand that, we're defining it, and we're protecting it. So there are a lot of issues out there, certainly. The job is not done, and I am so glad that you all are here as advocates. It's my pleasure to turn over the microphone right now to my good friend from Santa Monica. Give it up for Senator Ben Allen.
Well, thank you, everybody. Thanks for being here. Thank you for being part of this sacred congregation, this kahila that we've created together. I'm really proud to have served as chairman of this caucus, this wonderful Jewish caucus. And I do want to second Henry's comments going back to the vision of our founding chairs, Marty Block and Mark Levine, who's here as well. Wonderful David Bacarsley, who served on my staff when I was chair of this caucus. And we worked so hard together to do some key things that I think have helped to build the successes that we've been able to build, which was making sure that our colleagues had the opportunity to go see all of the incredible work happening in the Jewish community to help everybody. We went and brought legislators down to the border to see the work that Caucus was doing, helping with refugees. And to tell the story, we mentioned Rebecca Bauer-Kahan, our wonderful colleague, whose own grandparents were settled in the United States by Caucus. And I'm sitting next to Dariush here, whose family was settled from Iran by Highest. But now Highest is also doing the work of helping people coming from all over the world, from Asia, from Africa, from Latin America, refugees who need a place to call home. We were able to highlight the work of JFS, Jewish Family Services, doing so much anti-poverty work around our communities. The work of Beit Tzedek, providing vital legal services around our state to people in need. There are so many of these stories. And it was so important. We've been able to remind our colleagues. I know Adina Foreman's here, who's with the Hospitality Training Institute. There she is, Adina. Working on labor Jewish issues. People who are unabashedly Jewish, but also unabashedly focused on making our society more just and truly reaching the grand goals of Tikkun Olam, which are at the heart of our tradition. And your work, your leadership, your example has helped to build the relationships and helped to send a signal to all of our colleagues that have made such a difference during our times of need. When Tree of Life Synagogue was shot up by that awful bigot, we had every leader from the different ethnic caucuses stand with us and fight with us for the security grants that have now provided tens of millions of dollars to provide security for Jewish and other institutions. And I want to thank our chair, Jesse Gabriel, for championing that work. And most recently, when AB 715 was making its way through, and gosh, we have to thank Rick and Don and Josh for taking those bullets, just grinding it out. But part of our success was the goodwill that all of you have helped to create by looking beyond the Jewish community and providing real service that truly is grounded in our shared belief in Tikkun Olam. So I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for working so closely with this wonderful caucus. I want to thank these incredible legislators who have been just wonderful friends and wonderful leaders for our state. We also have a lot of good rapport with each other. Most caucuses, they're always fighting each other internally. There's incredible coherence here. Incredible coherence. And a lot of it is because of all the work we're doing together. So God bless you. Thank you for being here. And without further ado, Gail Pellerin.
Hello, good evening. How's everybody doing? My name is Gail Pellerin, and I represent Santa Clara, parts of Santa Clara County and Santa Cruz County, home of the banana slug. That's here for UCSC. And it's great to see so many people there from that region. I want to give a shout out to Doreen Castleman. You do so much great work with our Jewish Democratic Club. You are phenomenal. And May is Mental Health Awareness Month. And we have got to be taking care of our mental health and the mental health of our loved ones. We are living in a world that is so divided and so much hatred and so much anti-Semitism that's on the rise that we really need to continue to work together to make this world a better place. And one thing that really impacts my mental health is reading a state voter guide that has the most vile, despicable, disgusting candidate statement that's anti-Semitic. And you have my word, we are working on language right now. We're going to fix this so that will never, ever happen again. Because I feel very strongly in this world that we cannot just create safe spaces in this world. Our entire world needs to be a safe space for everyone. So that is our goal. That's what we're going to get. And just thanks so much for these incredible colleagues. And I'll hand it over to Rick Zimmer.
Hello, everyone. I'm Assemblymember Rick Sabur. I represent the west side of Los Angeles. And I'm not going to take a lot of time now because you're going to hear a little bit from me later, but I just want to say that I want to thank all of you. As I look across this crowd, and I know that Jesse and Don and Josh and feel the same way, I met almost half of you coming to these hearings. You were up here all the time. You were calling our offices, asking how you could be helpful. And, we, as Don said, we never would have gotten this across the line had it not been for the advocacy and you and also Jewish California coalescing the community and raising the voices of the Jewish community together. And then the only other thing I want to say now is that I'm very honored to be a member of this caucus. it's a very special caucus. I'm also a member of the LGBTQ caucus, which Chris Ward chairs. And those are my two favorite caucuses, and I think in some ways it's because both communities are actually facing such targeting and hate right now. And the thing I'll tell you about the Jewish caucus is it is an honor to sort of see the courage and the fortitude and the commitment that every single member of this caucus brings every day. I mean, I sat as an ally in these rooms, and I saw how at some point during 715, every single person up here was making, was educating members of the broader assembly, was basically bringing they did what I could never have done because I didn't have the lived experience that the Jewish members of this caucus have. And I saw the courage that each of these members had in advancing and protecting the Jewish community and Jewish kids. So it's an honor to be part of this caucus. I want to thank all of you for letting me be a member of the caucus. I really do. I mean, it's an honor to be. And so I would like to turn it over to Mr. Ahrens.
Hi, everyone. I'm Patrick Ahrens, and I'm proud to represent Silicon Valley. I am the newest member of the Jewish caucus. And I will just want to say two quick things. Number one is that I went to college with David Bocarsley. So if you want to hear some college stories, sit next to me at dinner. I'll tell you what he was like in college. And second, I just want to uplift this entire caucus. I had a lot of imposter syndrome when I first got elected. And I cannot tell you how effective my colleagues are behind me and how much they talk about all of you in rooms that you are not in, and how they bring all of you in the room when they talk to the governor about our priorities, and they bring you all in the room when they are voting to protect our students, many of which are here today bravely telling their stories. And they bring all of you in the room when we are protecting our community and advocating for the essential security grants that we continue to advocate for to not only protect places of worship and our institutions for our community, but other communities. And they are the reason why I continue to advocate and why I am electing to run for re-election. But most importantly, I will just say I have never met more capable, more thoughtful, and more caring people in my life than the people on this stage fighting for all of you. And if I can be half the legislator that they all are, then I will have a successful career. So really the thanks goes to all of them. Thank you all so much.
Thank you, Patrick. We're going from one of the newest members, the young buck of the Jewish caucus. I'm Mark Berman. I'm along with Senators Stern and Allen. I'm one of the grandpas of the Jewish caucus. This is my 10th year serving in the assembly, and I watch it over there. And I'd be remiss if I say 10th year representing Silicon Valley in the state assembly. And I know we have a lot of awesome constituents who are here tonight. And 10 years, and we haven't been doing this dinner for 10 years, have we? Bocarsley, how long have we been doing this? 4. And this dinner gets bigger and bigger and bigger every year. And I've been standing over here in the corner the whole past 15, 20 minutes. My eyesight's gotten a lot worse over the past 10 years. I'm trying to figure out what the highest table number is at this. What is it? 59 tables. Honestly, y'all, that's amazing. That's amazing. And I don't want to, I want all of you to appreciate how important it is you taking the time out of your days, you taking the time away from your families to come up here and advocate for the Jewish community in Sacramento with all of my colleagues, a bunch of whom were here today and some who weren't. It makes all the difference in the world. This job is hard. Being a member of the Jewish Caucus is hard, but you having our back makes it that much easier. And so I'm really so grateful to everybody. Now, I'm especially grateful. Can I get a show of hands? Who here is a constituent of Assemblymember Gabriel's? Who's it? Y'all, okay. Okay, everybody constituents. So Assemblymember Gabriel, not only am I an Assembly member, I'm Assemblymember Gabriel's housemate. When you see him in the district, remind him to pay his rent. It takes a village. So please, so grateful to Jesse for all of his leadership for as many years. He keeps on trying to get away, and we don't let him as chair of the Jewish Caucus. So grateful to him, grateful to all of my colleagues. And I think, am I the last? And I'm going to give it back to Jesse. That's bad timing. But...
Let's get one more round of applause for the amazing members of the Jewish Caucus. Mark, the check's in the mail. Don't worry, buddy. So I see that my time is running out here. I ended my other panel 90 seconds early, David, so I'm going to take 90 seconds of my time back. I want to say a few things. First, I want to thank Eitan Wallace, who's an amazing journalist up here in Sacramento. Eitan, thank you for being here and all of your work. I think that the one thing that I hope all of you will take away from watching my incredible colleagues that I'm so honored to serve with is how deeply invested we are in this work, how it is so present in our souls, and we lean into this, and it has really been a big part of our experience here in the legislature. And I hope you see the real, sincere passion that all of them have brought to this work. And also what I'm so grateful for is the community that we've built. I think one of the secrets of our caucus is that we love each other. We're real friends. For those of you that have, a text thread with a couple of buddies, you should see the way our text thread pops off. And it's been popping off since 10/7, and it hasn't stopped. And sometimes it's depressing stuff, and sometimes it's scary stuff, and a lot of time it is funny and joyful and reminds us of how lucky we are to be Jewish and how much we have to celebrate and how strong and resilient our community is. And so I just want to leave you with all of that. As difficult as this moment is, I think we've had a lot of difficult moments in our history, but we're going to hang in there. We're going to keep leaning into all of the things that has allowed us to navigate difficult moments. We're going to draw on the strength of the generations that came before us. Next week, we're going to do the first ever celebration of Jewish American Heritage Month in the state capitol. To bring Jewish joy and Jewish resilience and to honor the contributions of Jewish Californians. And when we do that, we're going to be thinking of all of you and the way that you strengthen our community. So thank you very much. Good luck in your meetings tomorrow, and toda rabah.